Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be walking you through everything you need to know about starting a Canvas discussion. So a Canvas discussion is an online discussion forum that allows students to answer prompts. They can respond to each other and to you in one virtual meeting place. So the benefits of having an online discussion is it's a great way to build an online community. Potentially, if you're not face-to-face, it's a great way to kind of converse with each other in a safe space. It also gives those introverted students some time to process and collect their thoughts on a prompt before they share their thoughts. Students get to practice sharing their opinions and thoughtfully respecting other people's opinions. It encourages reflection, deeper thinking, big picture thinking, and a lot of times it creates a peer-to-peer learning experience where students are teaching each other. So what does a Canvas online discussion board look like? Here's an example of what the threaded replies would look like. So the idea is that students respond to the original post, they answer the questions, they do some reflection, they respond to resources and links. And then the nice thing about the threaded reply is it encourages that conversation between students where they can build off each other's learning. So how do you set it up? In your Canvas page, remember you always want to build in modules. So you're going to find the module you want to add your discussion to, and you're going to click on the plus sign. And in that drop-down menu, instead of creating an assignment, you're actually going to look for a discussion. Once you're in that discussion, you can give some prompts, some directions, embed resources, and then you're going to look for your options. So these are just suggestions. You can completely do whatever you want to do when you're setting up your discussion, but students have responded that they really like the threaded replies option. This links all of the replies and posts to one original post together in one chunk. So Johnny posts his original response, and then anyone that responds to Johnny is going to be attached to his original post. I also really like the option to have users post their thoughts before they can see anyone else's. So no matter what time of day, no matter what time of week students log into the discussion assignment, they have to post their reply before they're going to see any of the threads. So it could look blank to them when they log in, but as soon as they post, they're going to see everyone else's that has posted before them show up in their thread. I also really like the graded option. There's certainly a place for ungraded discussion forums. However, most of the time you're going to choose graded, and it's going to give you lots of options to plop this into your gradebook. So then the last step is setting your grading options. So if it is a graded discussion post, you can choose to create a group discussion where you separate students into smaller groups to talk about a certain topic. You're going to assign the points, you're going to tell it to sync to Skyward, and then determine your assignment group, just like you do any normal assignment. You can decide to do peer review if you want students to look at each other's posts. It kind of encourages a time for students to actually read each other's posts and give them thoughtful feedback on how they did. And then as always, you're going to set that due date. So what the heck do the students see? So you're going to post your discussion. When the students log into that assignment, they're going to see that rich content editor. They're going to see all of your prompts, all of your resources. They're going to look for, hey, what do I have to post? And do I have to respond to others? It's really important to set that clear for students and make sure they meet those expectations. And then they're also going to see this reply button. This is something that you want to train students to find. A lot of times they'll get to their first discussion and not know what the heck to do because it's not a red submit button like they're used to. So you need to prompt them to find the bottom of the entry, hit reply, and that a text box will open for them to post their reply. So some options, some things for you to train students and also for you as you are looking through this discussion post. You're going to feel a little overwhelmed with the amount of entries that are going to pop up in this threaded discussion forum. So I would encourage students and you to use the search bar, and you can search for keywords that are popping up. You can search for student names. A lot of times when I am participating in an online forum, I actually search my own name to try to remember, okay, what did I respond and who did I respond to? Or you can even search for questions that are popping up. I also encourage students to filter by unread. So again, that forum can get a little overwhelming. So if you click unread, only the posts that you haven't looked at previously will pop up. And then I like this collapse and expand option, so that way you can just see original posts instead of everyone's reply. So that kind of gets rid of those replies for the moment so you can focus on original thoughts. So how do you grade a discussion post? SpeedGrader is amazing for grading Canvas discussions. So when that discussion forum gets a little overwhelming and there's lots of posts, you don't have to search through and figure out how many times each student responded or replied or posted. When you go to those three dots at the top of your discussion assignment, you're going to look for SpeedGrader, and what it does is it populates a little grouping for each student in your class. So you get to see how many times Johnny posted in this forum. Once you look at his responses and his original posts, you can give it a grade, give it some feedback, and that will automatically populate in your Canvas gradebook. So just some ideas for how to set up your first discussion. I really like the tables, so that way you can organize for yourself and for students any resources that you want them to look at, and then always, always, always tell them specifically what you want them to post in that discussion. So sometimes you might not need them to respond to each other. You just want to hear their original thoughts. Go ahead and let them know that so they know what to expect. Again with the table, but this time my suggestion would be to give students several different prompts to choose from. So that way you don't get the same response over and over and over again. The more open-ended you can make your questions, the more thoughtful responses you're going to get. Similarly, if you give students options, hey, you can respond to this prompt or this prompt, you get a lot more variety in your discussion forum than if everyone's responding to the same question. This is an example of something you can do as a non-graded discussion post. It's a great way to build community and let students celebrate things that maybe aren't even related to your course, but it builds community because students can highlight each other, they can highlight what's going on in their life, they can socialize a little bit, ask you questions or ask each other questions. So a great example if you don't necessarily want to set up graded discussions. Another idea for you to try eventually is to set up a group discussion forum. So I've mentioned a lot that sometimes when you've got 30 people in one discussion forum, it's a lot to dig through. So if you notice that happening in your course, I might suggest setting up discussions groups, so that way students can respond in smaller settings. So instead of responding to 30 students, maybe they're responding to 8. Another great idea, once you're ready, if you find yourself using discussions often in your course, you might think about setting up discussion leaders. So when the student is a leader of a discussion for a certain week, they can choose to write the prompts and share them with you. They can respond to questions within the discussion forum. And one of my favorite strategies is to have that student leader pick 3 classmates' posts to highlight or reflect on, and that really encourages students to truly look through and read each other's responses. And then finally, a great idea too, almost an essential idea, is to have some sort of rubric or protocol or sample post to share with students before they start posting. I love this quote that I always ask my students to really think, am I truly adding value to this discussion thread, or am I just throwing gibberish up there to get it over with? We have to keep in mind that as professionals, we are pretty used to doing online discussion forums, in our professional development courses and things like that. However, this is probably new to a lot of our students. So giving them samples can't hurt, and giving them kind of a template to work off of, so you don't just get, I agree with you, great ideas, great job, over and over and over again. And Canvas has really great rubrics that you can generate for your discussions, and you can use them over and over again. So if you're doing a weekly discussion, you can just reuse this one rubric over and over. So lastly, I would encourage you to watch the 5-minute walkthrough that I have posted here. It'll help you set up, look at student views, and talk a little bit more about how to grade that discussion in Canvas. So thanks so much and good luck.